The first of the Buddha's Four Noble Truths is right there. Existence is suffering. The preacher, Ecclesiastes, who once declared, "I have seen all the works that are done under the sun, and behold, all is vanity and vexation of spirit," is a wise source of guidance if it's not your thing. Within the Gospel of Luke, Jesus recounts to his disciples the story of the wealthy individual who amassed wealth and then heard from God saying, "You idiot, your life will be required of you this very night. Who will then get the food you have prepared for yourself?" The message is the same across all organized religions. Those who follow them should have confidence in a happier life to come and be ready for their share of misery in this mortal valley of tears. Which may explain why scientists have often observed that people who practice spirituality, who identify as religious, are generally happier than those who do not. Numerous studies have revealed that religious individuals are generally less worried and sad than non-religious people, making them better equipped to withstand life's ups and downs. The only social activity linked to long-term happiness, according to a 2015 study conducted by researchers at the London School of Economics, was joining a religious organization. This association outweighed volunteering, attending classes, and joining political or community organizations. It's as though having a strong spiritual sense and engaging in socially engaged religion were a powerful defense against the pleasure virus. This is a phenomenon that I have personally witnessed. A few years ago, experiencing a combination of despair and anxiety, perhaps due to residing in New York City for an extended period of time, I scheduled a visit with a psychiatrist. Since over 13% of Americans take antidepressants, I assumed I might wind up doing the same. To stop the kind of racing thoughts that can send someone into a negative spiral, my doctor suggested a morning meditation practice instead of taking medication. I'm not sure if deep, regular breathing had any calming effects, or the mental discipline that comes with practicing meditation, concentrating on the here and now rather than allowing regrets about the past or anxieties about the future to consume you. I felt like I was part of a community of individuals who similarly tried to find inner peace, since the app I used to clock myself showed me how many other people were meditating at the same time as me, even though I was doing it alone. It was effective, whatever it was. As it happens, my experience is not unique. A review that was written up and published in the JAMA International Medicine Journal indicated that even a minimal bit of meditation training can be beneficial for pain, sadness, and anxiety. Scientists aren't precisely sure why it works, though. This also applies to the safeguarding effects of spirituality and religion. According to some experts, having a religious belief can help you get through difficult times and enhance happy ones, since it provides a deeper sense of meaning and purpose in life than a secular perspective alone. It's possible that having faith in a hereafter, as almost all major religions do, can make you happy in this life because you'll know you'll be going to a better place. This is the equivalent of the opium that Karl Marx thought religion provided for the downtrodden masses. Jesus promised his followers that their reward is great in heaven, but it also appears that they will receive the reward right now. It seems that there is truth to the claim that happiness is derived from faith, and it seems that the strength of numbers is one of the primary causes. The collective strength. Many religions forbid vices that, in the long run, harm one's health and pleasure. Mormons, who are prohibited from smoking and consuming alcohol or caffeine, and abstaining Seventh-day Adventists, who eat vegetarianism and abstain from alcohol, are two examples of groups with significantly lower mortality rates than the general population. Although the commandment, "Thou shalt not," may sound like a bad idea, scientists have discovered that in a free, consumer-driven society, there are a lot of options available to us, which can really burden us. Professor of psychology at Swarthmore College, Barry Schwartz, even coined the phrase, "the paradox of choice." It's likely that religious prohibitions and the religious community that upholds them will lessen that load, particularly if they serve to discourage harmful conduct. Regarding religion and spirituality, it might not be so much what you believe or how you believe, as it be the fact that you believe at all and share your beliefs with others that keeps you happy. Strong social bonds are among the best predictors of happiness, as scientists have long recognized. Joining a volunteer organization, a bowling league, or the parent-teacher association will probably benefit you more than being by yourself. Religion is not the only social glue that holds people together. However, as anyone who was raised religiously knows, there's something special and adhesive about the bonds of faith. Less so is our faith. We can grow out of social ties, a hobby, or attachment to a sports team. The word religio, which means to bind together in Latin, is the root of the word religion. Atomistic people have ties to their friends, community, church, and family, both living and deceased. Jesus' adage that, "Where two or three are gathered in my name, there I am among them," applies to more than just the early Christians. Religion might not be as effective at preventing sadness if there isn't a sense of belonging to the community. Researchers led by sociologist Cheyenne Lim of the University of Wisconsin-Madison found that 33% of respondents to a survey of American adults conducted in 2006 and 2007 who attended religious services weekly and reported having close friends at church said they were extremely satisfied with their lives, compared to only 19% of respondents who went to church but had no close friends there. In my opinion, the data supports the idea that creating close social networks and making friends at church are what truly contribute to people's happiness, rather than simply attending services and hearing sermons, Lim told Time. In actuality, the people who appear to gain the most from the protective nature of religious communities are those who are going through the most hardship in this life. In a 2011 study, researchers examined self-reports from hundreds of thousands of people globally and discovered that the largest correlation between religious belief and happiness was observed in those who experienced hardships such as hunger, poverty, or terror. Consider it as empirical evidence supporting the proverb that there are no atheists in the foxhole. The collective support of a religious community, and, presumably, the promise for a better future in a completely different world, are particularly useful, if not unaffordable, during difficult times. That could be one of the reasons religious communities have always been so crucial to slave people, from African Americans enslaved in the antebellum South to ancient Israelites living under the Pharaoh's foot in Egypt. It could also be the reason that the majority of religious people live in states in the United States with longer life expectancies and higher rates of poverty. Even if a wealthy person could have more difficult time entering heaven than a camel going through a needle's eye, he might not believe that he should be counting on heaven in the first place. Being in the majority is important. Both religious and secular people report similar levels of satisfaction and social support in wealthy but secular nations, like France and the Netherlands. Indeed, according to Gallup data, some of the happiest countries in the world, Nordic nations like Denmark and Sweden, which consistently rank highly on well-being surveys, have a relatively high percentage of atheists. Their total lack of religious belief and their likely lack of concern for any sort of afterlife did not appear to prevent them from appreciating this life. It is not necessary to be a Marxist to hold the views that materialism has an impact on happiness and that individuals who live in prosperous, safe nations will generally be happier than those who do not. If the welfare state offers a similar level of existential security in wealthy nations as religion does in impoverished ones, another factor probably at play is the relatively low levels of inequality in the secular Nordic countries. Research indicates that the socially protective aspects of religion are most effective in countries where religious practice is widespread. Put another way, it's critical to make amends with both God and other people. Being religious makes sense in a society like the United States where the majority is religious, as studies have consistently demonstrated that being a member of a minority group can be stressful. In contrast, a nation like the Netherlands, where atheism is common, would say the reverse. A practicing religious person would be in the minority there, and you would feel out of place instead of enjoying the friendly camaraderie of your fellow believer. The spirituality's protecting properties are also diminished along with those religious social relationships. According to a different National Bureau of Economic Research study, residents are more likely to engage in religious activities if they live in a community where co-religionists are more prevalent. Additionally, there is a substantial link between the density of religion and favorable economic results, such as greater earnings, reduced divorce rates, and a higher probability of holding a college degree. The cultural norms that underpin religion have a role in determining its worth. Naturally, those worries seem a little superficial for an issue that really has to do with spirit rather than numbers. Here's where spirit enters the picture. The idea that religion should aim to provide people happiness is a relatively new one, and it would have seemed absurd to the strict Protestants who landed on Plymouth Rock, who thought that the purpose of life was to glorify God, not to bring people happiness. However, that is the past. Many of those hardened Protestants' descendants now teach the prosperity gospel, which clearly attributes God's grace to material success in this life. According to this narrative, religion may provide both community and actual money. Furthermore, although the prosperity gospel may represent an extreme form, other modern spiritual traditions clearly state that happiness is the ultimate goal. The Art of Happiness is a best-selling book authored by the Dalai Lama. The Buddhist guru explains why happiness is so crucial in it. Isn't it inherently self-centered and even self-indulgent to base one's existence on pursuing personal happiness, the author asks? Not always. Indeed, poll after survey has demonstrated that the most self-centered, socially reclusive, moody, and even aggressive individuals are those who are dissatisfied. According to this perspective, happiness is practically a duty rather than only a potential side effect of religion. Perhaps, then, the real issue here isn't religion as much as those fundamental cultural norms. The book's co-author, psychiatrist Howard Cutler, along with the Dalai Lama, has stated that he proposed changing the book's beginning from the fairly depressing first noble truth, which states that existence is suffering.